Hello everyone and welcome back to my F1 23 Formula 2 season in the 2022 Formula 2 cars. We are here for round 4 at Catalunya, and as you can see it is raining in practice, so things didn't go too well for us there. And yeah, we couldn't really get a representative time in. I'm not that great in the rain, especially in the F1 games.
The 14-15 chicane is going to feel slow. There's no getting around it. Just focus on keeping that section tidy. Don't take too much curb. Don't get greedy on the power. Trying to be a hero through the chicane will ruin your lap more often than not.
Yes, that chicane that no longer exists. That is spectacular advice. Thank you, Mr. Engineer. Anyway, we move on into qualifying, and yeah, we had no representative practice. There's no rain forecast for the rest of the weekend, and it rained throughout the entirety of practice, so the session was essentially useless. I did do a few laps just to somewhat get up to speed with the circuit, but yeah, overall it wasn't too much help. Anyway, we get into qualifying. And just like we did at Imola, we're going to do 2 flying laps, which means we're putting a total of 6 laps on these tyres, which is a concern if the bug of the tyre selection in the feature race continues. But we know how to deal with that now if it happens after running the soft tyres in the sprint race at Imola. It worked well enough for us. It does make the weekend a bit trickier to manage, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, regardless of all that, we qualify P4, which is our first time not qualifying first or last, so we finally got the difficulty nailed.
So qualifying is complete and we're all set for an exciting race tomorrow. Your top 3 are
Porcher, Dragovic, Amory, Cordial.
The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow where we'll be live with all the action, and until then, goodbye.
But yeah, that with neither myself or Cordial scoring pole position, the 2-point gap between us does not change. Marino Sato will get reverse grid pole ahead of Enzo Fittipaldi and Yuri Vips. Callan Williams again in the top 10, showing great form in the Trident. And Frederick Vesti will be a little disappointed to just miss out on that crucial reverse grid pole, as with Liam Lawson right behind him. But yeah, without further ado, I think it is time we just get into it, and we'll move on to the sprint race and see how it goes. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya. This circuit has seen some exciting racing over the last quarter century. The question is, which of the young drivers below will be the next to write a chapter of that illustrious history? It's back to the future for the F2 drivers today. We welcome the removal of the chicane in the final sector. It will shorten lap times and reduce the length to 2.9 miles, 14 turns. This was the original setup of the track, but it hasn't been used since 2007. In commentary, I'm Alex Jakes, and I'm joined once again by 2012 GP2 champion Davide Valsecchi. Davide, I imagine you've been around this track countless times by now. Any tips for the drivers out there today?
Yeah, you're right. This is a track that has been in rotation for both Formula 1 and Formula 2 for years now. My advice is to watch your tires management. The track has a bumpy surface that can be very demanding on drivers and tires. Play it safe most of the way around, then look at the long straight into turn 1 for overtake opportunities.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
I will not let you down, or at least I will try my best not to, but we do have a challenge ahead of us because the soft tyres that we have to use in this race if we want to avoid the bug of not having any hard tyres to use in the feature race will not quite make the entire race distance. So yeah, we're really going to be struggling by the end on some very worn tyres, but it's the only option we have if we want the feature race to be even feasible. So this is what we have to do. Lights out and away we go for the sprint race here in Spain. And what the soft tyres do for us is give us a fantastic launch down to the first corner. We've moved ourselves up into second position, but look at Sato. He has bolted down towards the first corner, taking the apex there, clear ahead of the field, and this has been an absolutely perfect start for our team, starting first and seventh and getting into the first corner first and second. That is just crazy. So we'll see what we can do if we can chase down Marino Sato while our soft tyres are still good, or potentially we shouldn't even be doing that. We should probably just be looking after them as much as we can and making sure they can get to the end of this race. This isn't about winning this race, it's about scoring whatever points we can, and then once we move on to the feature race, that is where the big points are scored and where we can make an impact. This weekend with this tyre bug that has been plaguing us in the last 2 rounds, you know, it's it's just going to be an ongoing issue we have to contend with. I'm expecting it to happen. If it doesn't, fine, but yeah, it's a very frustrating issue to have to deal with. Anyway, we are keeping pace with Sato so far, not putting a lot of pressure on him at the moment, just keeping our distance, and we are bolting away from the rest of the field. So yeah, we're doing quite well so far in this race. As we continue on though, we have a little bit of a whoopsie there, and that might give the opportunity to Yuri Vips as he makes the move down the inside. We have a little brief look back into the final corner. There's never really going to be an opportunity there, so yeah, we've just clumsily lost that position as well as a fair bit of time to Marino Sato. So we need to try and pull ourselves back into this as we go for the lunge back down the inside of Yuri Vips, and we get through nicely there. Vips trying to fight back on the inside of turn 2, but we have the inside for the long right-hander of 3, and that will see us clear ahead as we regain a second position and restore the 1-2. We continue on though, and we continue to have a few little moments of struggle. The slightest wobble there sends us quite wide into the gravel again. This time we don't lose any positions though, and we are able to push on. But now we're getting to the crossover point where the cars behind are starting to have genuine pace over us. As much as we've tried to look after the tyres and not, you know, be too attacking in this race, it's not worked for us, and the tyres are still just falling away after 12 laps. So not even that far into this race, we have a long way to go, and yeah, this is going to be a struggle, but you know, it is obviously Catalunya is known for being a more difficult circuit for overtaking, and the chicane is gone now, which probably helps overtaking a little bit, but really there's only one overtaking opportunity. So if we can get a good exit out of the final corner, that's really all that matters. And you can see, you know, we do, after a while, actually manage to stabilize our pace a little bit once again, and we sort of stopped losing time to Marino Sato for a while. So, you know, if we can keep this up, we should be all right. But you know, one mistake, and you can see Yuri Vips there looking to the inside. So yeah, it's pressure on for the rest of the race as the field begin to queue up behind us, and we just have to try and get whatever we can out of these soft compound tyres. There's no point pitting in a sprint race. We're not going to make up that kind of time, at least not at this circuit. So yeah, the only way forward for us is to try to get these tyres to the end. Even if we do drop a couple of places, it'll still be some decent points for us. And remember, our main target in championship-wise is Amari Cordial, and we are well ahead of him at the moment. So that is all good news for us in terms of the championship. Sato, I think 5th in the standings at the moment. Not entirely sure, but you know, he's there, but not a major threat. And neither is Yuri Vips, who has actually dropped away now. Callan Williams is making the move on Yuri Vips actually there. So Callan Williams now up into third position. The Australian driving for Trident doing a nice job, and he makes it 2 Aussies on the podium at the moment in this sprint race here at Catalunya. Yuri Vips drops down to 4th. He does have the fastest lap of the race though, so that will be a bonus point for Yuri Vips. We continue to push on then, and we are still under pressure from the field behind as we navigate our way through the first few corners. Radio? Maybe? I'm probably too busy cornering at the moment.
Second place, you're in second place. And gap to the car in front is 9.4 seconds.
Yeah, the gap to Sato is astronomical. Meanwhile, Ralf Boschung sets the fastest lap of the race, which caught my attention. He and Iwasa both made pit stops in this race. They started on softs, so yeah, they've gone in different directions. Boschung has pitted onto another set of softs, Sato onto a set of hards. So it'll be interesting to see what they do in the second race, because they've essentially used 2 sets of tyres, so that may compromise their tyre bank in the next race. But you know, someone or 2 drivers have tried differing versions of the pit stop strategy. It'll be interesting to see if they're able to make anything of it. Meanwhile, we are really under pressure once again from Callan Williams, but we are just about holding on. Look at that tyre wear at this phase of the race. We are heading towards puncture territory, so you know, we from here to the end we could get a puncture at any moment, and that could spell the end of our race. So there is a certain element of risk to our strategy, but we're close to the end now, so I'm not terribly concerned about it. We'd be quite unlucky for it to happen now. But yeah, you can see Callan Williams absolutely hounding us through these final few laps, and everyone else. Well, we actually don't have a huge queue of cars, there's only 2, so we still are one of the fastest cars on the circuit, and you know, we don't have, you know, it's not like we have the entirety of the top 10 stacking up behind us, so you know, we, you know, at worst we'll probably only finish in P4, but as we continue to push on, we do manage to fend off the attacks from behind. And
okay, mate, final lap. Keep your concentration and let's bring it home.
Now on to the final lap. Callan Williams has a pretty good run here as he looks to the outside. We're going to cover the inside there, nice and smooth through the apex, and that should seal the deal for us. As long as we don't make any mistakes, we should be fine. Easy on board with Callan Williams. He's got good drive traction actually up towards turn 4. He's going to have a look down the inside as we head into turn 4. We just about managed to close off that opportunity before he could get the nose in. We're able to go late enough on the brakes and still make the apex, using every bit of tyre grip we have left to hold on to this position. Callan Williams is just about pushing us out of turn 5. He is throwing everything at it at the moment. We're just about holding on to the position. Meanwhile, Marino Sato is well up the road from us as we miss the apex of turn 9. That could give Williams another opportunity. He's actually dropped quite a way back there, so that might be the end of the battle for P2. I think we might just be able to hold on to this, but up the road, what a drive it has been for Marino Sato. He's had the pace today and absolutely dominated the sprint race here at Catalunya. Marino Sato takes his first win in Formula 2. Fantastic stuff, and that is some fantastic, much needed points for his championship. We'll bring it around the final corner and we'll make it a 1-2 for Virtuosi. The engineer
right, race
is
over. Take care of the car on the way in.
on a delay. I was about to say he's speechless, but he finally said something. P2 for us. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Driver of the day as well, especially starting 7th.
So Virtuosi have won it, and what a great race it was.
And I have to wonder, Davide Valsecchi, just what set them apart from the competition here.
I think this race was won thanks to the tire management. You have to remember, it's not just about going as fast as you can, it's about consistency. It's about maintaining your speed over an entire race distance. So being able to keep the lap time competitive while still respecting the tires, that's where they won today.
Another race and another victory for Virtuosi as we see the drivers make their way out to the podium for the final ceremony. Superb racing out there today and a well-deserved win.
So it is Marino Sato who takes race victory here at Catalunya in the sprint race. We make it a 1-2 for the Virtuosi team, and Callan Williams gets on the podium to finish off another strong sprint race performance from him.
After this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table.
Jack Doohan takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship after that excellent result.
And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
Let's give it to Marino Sato. That was a quality drive from start to finish. He can be proud of that one.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Teams' Championship.
Virtuosi moved to the top of the table.
After all this drama, you would be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Alrighty, let's have a little run through the finishing order and then we will check out how this race has impacted the championship standings. So it was Marino Sato ahead of myself, and then third came Callan Williams, so we just saw them on the podium. Behind all of us came Dennis Hauger, and then Felipe Drugovich, Yuri Vips, Frederic Vesti, a good race from him, going from P11 all the way up to P7, and then Jay Deruvala took the final point. So that is how the point scorers look. Enzo Fittipaldi, not a great run from him, starting second and finishing down in 9th position, so he'll be very disappointed with the way the race unfolded for him. But in terms of the championship then, we take the lead from Amaury Cordial. He's now 7 points behind us. Teo Porcher, 27 points behind. He's dropped back a fair bit, not scoring at all in that race. So he drops a bit further away. And then Marino Sato gaining significantly, of course, in this race, now just 30 points off the championship lead. So it's been a good one for Marino Sato, who's now 4th in the standings. In terms of the Teams Championship then, we stretch away significantly from Van Amersfoort after this one, 30 points ahead of them now, and 48 points ahead of the Prema Racing team. We haven't actually seen too much of them, but they've been, I guess, just chipping away at it and scoring decent points without stealing the headlines this season. In this race in particular, Dennis Hauger P4, and the other driver, Jane Deruvala, P8 rather. That's the wrong list I'm looking at there. So yeah, they did both score in this race, and you know, those incremental points gains could pay dividends. Anyway, the feature race is up next, and that is of course where the Grand Prix points are paid out. So that is where it is most crucial to deliver. We've got the pressure on now as the championship leader, and we'll have Amaury Cordial starting right up the front with us, as well as Teo Porcher. Marino Sato a little bit further back, but not out of the picture.
Hello and welcome to the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalunya. We're counting down to the start of today's race, and you can feel the excitement in the air. This promises to be a real spectacle. It's back to the future for the F2 drivers today. We welcome the removal of the chicane in the final sector. It will shorten lap times and reduce the length to 2.9 miles, 14 turns. This was the original setup of the track, but it hasn't been used since 2007. Here are the starting positions for today's race. Teo Porcher will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from him. And it's Felipe Drugovich in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Cordial, Doohan, Jay Deruvala, Hauger, Williams, Vips, Fittipaldi, Marino Sato, Vesti, Lawson, Clement Novalak, Richard Verschoor, and Armstrong, Hughes, Caldwell,
and Tatiana Calderon. Sargent, Nissani, Boschong, and Ayumu Owasa completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's get down to the track. Alongside me today, I'm delighted to welcome back to the commentary box the 2012 GP2 champion, Davide Valsecchi. There looks to be a challenging race ahead of the drivers today, Davide. With that in mind, what are you looking out for today?
Well, Alex, I want to see how the drivers at the back of the grid are going to roll up. They'll need to make an impact in the early stages, and they're probably hoping for a bit of luck at the start. We may see some bold maneuvers out there today.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
I will try my best not to, but we'll see how it goes. Straight off the bat, I can confirm that the tyre selection glitch did occur. Otherwise, we should have had two sets of hards available. Instead, we just have the one hard compound of tyre that was sort of, I guess, carried over from the sprint race, and then we have the set of soft tyres we used in qualifying. This is the only way. This strategy is the only way we can get through the weekend properly. So, yeah, it's a frustrating issue to have, but we can contend with it. It just makes things a little bit tricky. But anyway, we got the 5 red lights, and it's lights out and away we go after quite a short hold there. We got a great start off the line once again, and not a great one for Felipe Drugovich. He's immediately passed by not only us, but also Amari Cordial on the left-hand side. And we go side by side with our championship rival into turn 1. Got to give space for him on the apex of turn 2. We do so, and we manage to complete the move. Cordial slots in behind, and that's a critical moment at the start of this one, as we have a nice opportunity now to further extend that rather small championship margin we have of just 7 points. If he wins this race, he's taking the championship lead back, no matter what. Pourchaire has made a pretty decent start, though, with Drugovich getting a bad one off second position. That's given him a little bit of a cushion as we start to try to chase him down. And, I guess the bit of squabbling between myself and Cordial also gave him that air gap behind. So we have some work to do now if we want to catch the Frenchman, and we'll see. The strategy could be quite interesting in this one as well, to see how the tyre selection issue affects everyone else's races, but hopefully it doesn't lead to anything stupid. I'll just say that, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, we are, I think, starting to close into Teo Pourchaire once again towards the end of the lap. As these are our qualifying tyres, they do have a few laps on them, but that might help bring them up to temperature more quickly, as they are scrub tyres. Felipe Drugovich on board of his start, and you can just see straight away Pourchaire getting away and being overtaken by both cars from the row behind. So it was not a great start for the Brazilian, and a good opportunity for him. I wouldn't say it's wasted, at least not yet, but he has a lot of work to do if he wants to win this one. Anyway, we start to put the pressure on Teo Pourchaire as we round the first few corners, and we're looking at fairly strong pace-wise in this race. Great run through turn 3, looking real from Teo Pourchaire now. He throws the block into turn 4. We go full send around the outside, but of course there is no way around there. But we are looking every which way to find a way past the Frenchman in the ART. So far, not having a great deal of luck, so we will have to just wait and try again as we make the lunge, this time down the inside into turn 1, and that is a job done. Clean move there ahead of Teo Pourchaire now, and hopefully we can push away before these tyres fall off the cliff. Ollie Caldwell retires from the race with a mechanical failure. Unfortunate for him and for Campos. They are last in the team's standings at the moment with just 5 points. So this is really not what they need. But as we continue to push on, we are still under pressure actually as the race goes on. These tyres do start to fall away towards the end of the stint, and now that little defense we threw against Teo Porcher is actually going to help our championship rival Amaury Cordial. A lovely opportunistic move there, and he will move himself ahead of Teo Porcher. So that was well done by Amaury Cordial. He made the most of that situation and is now starting to put the pressure on us. So I don't know what we can do here. Amaury Cordial is coming, and I don't know if we can stop him as he makes the move down the inside. We go as late as we can on the brakes. Nah, we're going to give it up. Cordial is faster at the moment, and you know, quite often I can actually drive better when I have a car in front of me to follow, and we'll see if that works for us on this occasion, or if Cordial is just faster.
Grip is probably dropping due to wear, so don't be too aggressive.
But yeah, that's the matter of fact. The grip is dropping away, and I just don't think we can match Cordial at the moment. So we're not going to get involved in any battles. We'll just run the fastest race we can as Callan Williams goes smashing through the barriers there, and through all of those advertising boards as he retires from the race with a mechanical failure. He was running inside the top 10, so that's unfortunate.
This lap, give us the best in lap you can. Gap to your teammate behind is 2.7 seconds.
That's a missed opportunity for he and Williams to grab a few more points, because, I mean, as we've seen in the last few sprint races, when he gets into some good track position, he can be a very competitive driver in this series, but he's not going his way in the feature race today. But anyways, I've been talking about all that. We are scrapping away very hard with Teo Porcher, but he gets through, and we have a little bit of a tangle there with Felipe Drugovich as we were trying to get a rather aggressive switchback. Drugovich was already there trying to take advantage of our wide moments, and we sort of met in the middle rather awkwardly. We got away with no damage, but I don't think Felipe Drugovich can say the same. We'll see the onboard from him of that entire exchange, and you can see we turned in on Porcher a little bit there, gave him a lot of space on the exit to turn 2 though, and from here I'm trying to just set up good exits to see if we can get some sort of run on Teo Porcher. We were chased all the way to the inside of the circuit there, which is why we had to go around the outside, and then that's where we sort of met in the middle with Felipe Drugovich. Yeah, I should have probably just given up the fight at that point, and just return to the racing line rather than trying to switch it back like that so aggressively. Yeah, Felipe Drugovich would not have had a clue what we were doing out there. But anyway, we bring it into the pit lane at the end of our stint. We do, you know, we need to get rid of these tyres. They're obviously not working for us. So, you know, our box lap finally arrives, and we can get a fresh set of hard compound tyres on the car.
Let's go now. Come on. Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one.
We'll drop down into last position after this stop, but with
look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
With a relatively short first stint to what I think everyone else will be doing, that might help us out in the long run. With quite a significant undercut, we might be able to get the positions back ahead of Teo Porcher and Amaury Cordial. So we'll see how it goes, but at the moment we are down in last position. We continue on, and the first to pit is Ayumu Iwasa. He was one of the drivers who used an alternative strategy in the previous race, and it did not work for him then, but we'll see how that affects this one as we make the move down the inside of Ralph Boschung, getting a little bit tangled on the inside curb there. Boschung gives us the space. He did a good job there actually, and we'll see his onboard as we look rearward towards us, making the move down the inside. He saw us coming, opened up the steering and gave us the inside line there, and he will carry on his way. He's the only driver starting on the hard compound tyres, so he's looking to go long in this race, as Marino Sato is in the pit lane for his pit stop. But yeah, with Boschung going long, he'll be finishing the race on the softs. If there's a safety car late in the race, that'll bring him right into the game, which I'm sure is what Campos are hoping for. But look at this mega train of cars in front. This is the train of cars stacking up behind Felipe Drugovich, who has that front wing damage. That was a big moment for us. We only just barely caught that slide. Here it is in a slightly slow-moified replay. And yeah, we were very lucky to get away with that one. That could have been a crash into the barriers if that slope angle was any further on that slide. But anyway, we now make the move down the inside of Roy Nassani. We missed the apex a bit there, so Roy Nassani on the outside did a good job to give us the space and let us collect the car as we were trying to regain control there, and he just lifted out of it. Let us go. We're not on the same strategy, so the less these guys fight with us, the better it is for all involved. We go for the double move down the inside of Calderon and Sargent, and that was a nice one there for us. Next up is Marcus Armstrong. We're a long way back, but we'll make the big lunge down the inside as he's held up in the queue, and that is a move on Marcus Armstrong. A bit of a slide on the exit, but no worries there. Continuing on, we rejoin the back of the queue, and we'll see if we can get past Jake Hughes as we have a look down the inside. We'll squeeze it in very late there. Jake Hughes sees us coming and gives us the space, and I have to say everyone is doing a very good job of you know, not getting involved in any incidents with us as we are charging through this field. That was a triple overtake there. Goodness me, didn't think I'd ever be doing that, but with everyone being held up by Felipe Drugovich, that gave us that opportunity, and now the trouble man himself has become our next target to overtake in this race. A nice little switch through the final corner, and I should say the troubled car. Felipe Drugovich doing the best he can with what he has, but with that damage, it's not looking too good for him at the moment. We continue on as more pit stops are made, and just as we started to catch the tail end of the next pack, or they start to make pit stops, we stay out, and that gives us 5th position, and eventually the race lead as everyone else goes into the pits to make their stops. So that leaves us with the race lead. We did get quite a significant undercut on Ollie Caldwell, on Amory Cordial rather.
Front of the pack.
And here is how the race stands at the moment. Cordial in second ahead of Porcher, and then further back Marino Sato in 7th, but he's used 2 sets of soft compound tyres so far in this one, so he will need to make another pit stop. Notes Ralph Boschung down in 14th position. He's gained a lot of places from the start on that strategy, and now he's on the soft tyres. Meanwhile, Felipe Drugovich is still struggling on with that damaged front wing, and Boschung is soon able to make that move. He also passes Tatiana Calderon up into P12, and with Marino Sato still needing to make another stop, he could find himself very close to the points, which will be absolutely critical for Campos. So here comes Marino Sato into the pit lane to make his final stop, and I guess we'll see where he re-emerges, but I think this may undo all the good work he's done in this race. There goes Frederick Vesti in the foreground, followed by Ralph Boschung, absolutely throwing everything at it, trying to catch the Dane and take away that final point. Marino Sato joins the race in 12th position, so I don't think he's really in this fight, but Ralph Boschung certainly is, and look at that, he's shaping for the move down the inside of Frederick Vesti, who doesn't put up a defense, and Boschung sails past in a straight line. No point defending from that. Boschung gets the move done easily into turn 1, and Frederick Vesti has to settle for P11 and no points, but that's a critical move for Campos. It'll be another point for them, and as I may have said earlier, they only have 5, so every point is critical, and they'll be over the moon with the result they're about to get here. Meanwhile, up the road, we are in the lead still by a significant margin. Not much been going on in our world. We've just been cruising around trying to just hold our margin to Cordial. It's extended by a few seconds. But other than that, not too much has happened. We've been feeling pretty good on these hard compound tyres late in this one. So as we bring it around the final lap, we did lose a bit of time on the final lap, just taking it easy and making sure we don't make any mistakes. We bring it around the final corner now, and this will be, I think, one of our best drives of the season. We slid back in the first stint, but we'll cross the line to take victory here at the feature race in Catalunya. That's a nice way to finish off the weekend. Will we get the driver of the day? No. Ayumi Iwasa gets the driver of the day.
A great win then for the Virtuosi team today.
Tell me, Davide, what was the key to this success?
Although the Formula 2 cars are all the same spec, the winner just looked better out there. It would have been a combination of getting those tires up to running temperature faster and driving to the condition on track. They made it look easy out there today.
And here are our podium drivers today. After that excellent race, they've excelled here as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Virtuosi then are on top today.
So it is a race victory for us here in the feature race at Catalunya. Second place goes the way of Amaury Cordial, doing a good job to keep his championship fight alive. And then third goes the way of Teo Porcher, a solid haul of points for him as well.
And now let's take a look at the driver's standings.
It's a good result for Jack Doohan, who extends his advantage at the top of the championship.
Now then, Davide Valsecchi, who would you say was your driver of the day?
Lots of drivers impressed me today, Alex. But if I have to say one that impressed me most, it's Jack Doohan.
On to the teams then.
Virtuosi moved to the top of the table.
Meanwhile, High-Tech GP's strong weekend allows them to continue their march up the table. It was great having you with us for this weekend. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. We'll see you when Formula 2 returns.
Alrighty, well that brings an end to the Catalunya race weekend here in Formula 2. Let's have a little run through the finishing order of this one. As of course it was myself ahead of Amaury Cordial. Teo Porcher, Yuri Vips finishes in 4th position after starting 8th. Decent run from him. And driver of the day, easily Ayumi Iwasa, P22 to P5. It is a huge drive, a huge result for himself and the Dams team. They'll be over the moon with that one as well. Jane Deruvalo, Dennis Hauger, again scoring consistently for Prema, P6, P7 for the pair of them. Liam Lawson finishes in 8th position after starting 12th. Decent day's work for him. Enzo Fittipaldi, solid race as well, started 9th, finished 9th, and then rounding out the points as we saw, Ralph Boschum, P21 to P10, so another very good performance from him. Teo Porcher probably a bit disappointed the way this weekend played out. Only a 3rd place to show for a pole position, and no points in the sprint race either. So yeah, not the weekend he thought he would have, I think, after qualifying in 1st position. But anyway, in terms of the driver standings, we maintain the lead, of course, now 15 points ahead of Amaury Cordial, and then behind him comes Teo Porcher, now 38 points adrift of us. Yumi Iwasa moves himself up into 4th position. He is 49 points adrift, only having 48 points to his name. And then it is Marino Sato, drops down into 5th position once again. He has 41 points, 56 points adrift of the championship lead. So yeah, that is how the driver standings look. In terms of the team standings then, unfortunately Marino Sato couldn't bring home anything for us there, but we do maintain the lead, and we are 38 points ahead of Van Amersfoort. Prema now 60 points behind. So the team standings looking pretty good at the moment. The drivers will be the main focus for the time being. But yeah, that is going to do it for this one. So I will say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Please feel free to give some feedback in the comments. It's always very helpful. Other than that, I will see you next time, and goodbye.